Well, good morning, everyone. And on behalf of myself and all of the butterflies and the pollinators, welcome to the Cottage on the Hill for a signature style Saturday, which is going to cover a number of different topics. It's going to be kind of a hodgepodge, if you will, starting with some Halloween decorations that I'm still in the process of displaying. We are going to do just some straight talk. I'm going to talk to you guys specifically about some changes that have been going on. A number of you have asked about Leah, and I'm going to address those topics and maybe make some suggestions on a few Halloween decorative, fun, stylish touches that you might want to incorporate in the coming month of October, because we're almost there. So what do you say, Stuart?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Now, wherever I go, whenever I walk in the neighborhood, ooh, there's a breeze today, Stuart. Whenever I walk in the neighborhood, I'm always looking for things to forage, because I might want to use them as part of a seasonal display or just because they tickle my fancy. So in many places in the neighborhood, there are stands like this of iris. And I have discovered that dried iris leaves look very much like corn stalks. Now these need to get to dying because I need more brown ones.
Yeah, there's not too many.
Yeah. And I don't think anybody would generally mind if I am taking the dead foliage off of their iris. But in case some of you are worried, these are my neighbors and I know them. And I'm sure they would be more than generous to share some of this foliage.
Somebody's random backyard. Look at those cool little steps.
Yeah, that's what I love about this neighborhood. There's just little weird eccentricities to be found everywhere. Okay, so I have foraged some like this. Take a few stalks in addition to some leaves. But see, doesn't that kind of look like cornstalk foliage? It does to me anyway.
I'm in Kansas.
Yep. And it's all free. Okay, let's go back and do something with it. Okay, this is a teachable moment. Stuart, when we walked by, Stuart said, "What is that? What are these lines?" Well, this is
But
what
aren't
you...
on all of them.
Not on all of them. This is leaf miner, and they make channels like this in the leaves.
They mine it?
They mine it, yeah. And this is a perennial geranium, and that is leaf miner.
Now we know.
Now we know. Okay, if you guys are in the Heritage Hills Mesta Park area, remember that tomorrow is Mesta Festa in the park just down the street from me. But I've had great success, and I wanted to point it out to you. I've had great success with this champion rye seed coming up. You can see how it's this flush of green. The light's not great right now, but it germinated really, really well, because not only have I been sprinkling it periodically, but also we got a good rain. Now, for some reason, this is something I take note of in my journal, and I probably mentioned it on my last walkabout. You guys will want to do this too. I did notice that it germinates much more quickly and much more effectively and successfully on that side than it does on the east side. So I've added a little bit more seed here. Kayla left me a bag with some extra seed in it, and I've sprinkled a little bit more because I want as great a coverage on this side as I have on the other side. So Stuart, let's take a break here, and when we come back, I'll tell you what I'm going to do with all of this dead leafy material. So here is a little secret, and that number one secret is electrical ties are magical in terms of what they can do, as is anything that you find in the natural world that replicates something different in the natural world. And that's why I love to get this iris foliage, and I've got a basket of it over here. as I decorate the outside of the cottage. Now, there's always a mess, there's always disorder before there is order, and I've been really busy the past couple of days, so I haven't even staged all of my pumpkins yet, but I am beginning to start. You can see that I've got some pumpkins in the pots flanking either side of the front door. I have a sweet little bouquet of dried corn, harvest corn on my door. And my first thing that I started with here was, well, when I saw these at Walmart, and I'm not a huge Walmart shopper, but I was in there picking up a prescription and I saw these and I thought, oh my gosh, these would be perfect somehow to coordinate with my metal witch display that I had last year. Do you remember that, Stuart? Okay, so let's put a picture right here of the witch from last year. I just haven't gotten it out yet this year. Maybe that's on my agenda for this weekend. So I thought these would look great. So I kind of put them in different places, and what they are, obviously they're haunted houses, but they are haunted houses. Stuart, if you want to come up here, we can show what they look like from behind. But they are haunted houses that are candle holders, specifically tea light holders. And obviously I could use real tea lights, and I might do that on Halloween, but also I can use these little solar tea lights, and I will put a link for you definitely below, and then I don't even have to worry about it. They just automatically come on in the evening as soon as it gets dark enough. So I wanted these to look like finials at the top of the stairs. So if you are coming up this way, Stuart, let's give them a different vantage point.
Down there, where?
Let's go down the steps.
All right, snap me down there, it'll be fun.
Okay. So when you come up the step, Stuart gets a tickle out of that. They look like finials at the top of the railing, and the railing is exactly the same finish, as are all of the lanterns that I have positioned around the front of the cottage. I like that because they all match. So these look like kind of spooky finials. And as soon as I can, when they come on at night, you'll probably see this before I get you an image of that, but I definitely will. They look really cool with all of these pumpkins. And then, so I should back up. What I did was I just secured them with some electrical ties.
Which was the first thought I had as I walked up earlier today. Was how in the heck are they not going to fall over?
Yeah, or blow over, but they're really not going to. In fact, look at
sturdy.
Yeah, they're super sturdy. They're super sturdy on Signature Style Saturday. So there you go. So, and I used dark ones rather than white ones, so they would kind of fade away. So these are very, very secure. They're not going anywhere, but they do look like wonderful finials at the top of the steps. And then I wanted just a punch of orange. So from that side and from this side, I've got two tiny little pumpkins here because I wanted a little bit of orange to coordinate with the orange that's down here on either side of the step as you go up to the top walkway. And then because they look just a little barren and a little too stark without something to soften them, I just tucked some of that iris foliage into those electrical ties to kind of soften it. So I think it looks pretty cool from the street. And then I will just kind of in a very intentional, spaced kind of way, have pumpkins that go all the way to the front. So you see I've still got some to work with. I wanted this year, I've not had a topiary, a pumpkin topiary for a while. So I wanted to put a pumpkin topiary at the top of the steps. And I did that by just taking a plant stand, and I'll get you a link to something similar. I just got these at Lowe's. But I like the way that it's elevated. I like the way there's this curve because it kind of reminds me of the pumpkin carriage in Cinderella.
Exactly every time I think about it.
And then I just stacked them, and again, because I didn't want it to look too stark, I wanted to kind of soften a little bit the effect. I just tucked in, some still green and some already
That's
brown.
their natural color.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yep.
crazy.
Now, one thing I did, and you guys know this, is I give all of my pumpkins just a light spritz of a clear gloss enamel. I don't do the whole pumpkin. I just do it where the light will reflect, typically on the shoulder of the pumpkin, kind of like that. I don't do the whole thing. It's not necessary. Someone commented that she or he, I can't remember, washes and does like a bleach solution dunk with all of their pumpkins, and you might want to do that. Definitely it will clean them off, and probably it will keep them from rotting prematurely, and maybe even help deter squirrels. But for me, I put out so many pumpkins, that's more trouble than I want to go, that I want to go to. So you just know what works for you, and this works for me. I give them a little bit of a wipe down to get the mud off, but I don't want to spend a lot of time prepping my pumpkins that are just going to be outside. So let's take a break here and talk about some other touches. Well, another change I made up here next to the porch, I had these wrought iron wire cages or egg-shaped cages up here, and I took them off, which isn't an easy thing to do, I might add, because so much of the stuff growing inside had grown in and around the skeleton of the cages. But nevertheless, I pulled them out because I wanted to just put some pumpkins in here. So I selected 3. I could have done some gourds. I could have done, obviously different things depending on what you want to do. But I am sticking up front pretty much with the orange thematic in the front. I'm not this year going to mix too many different colors with the orange. The whites and the grays, some of which you see here, those are going to be relegated to the inside of the cottage and the back. But up front, I'm pretty much sticking with just orange pumpkins. I may need just a few more, I'm not sure. So I will strategically place some of these in different areas on the upper terrace, knowing where I'm thinking about where I'm going to put the witch, which this year I think I'll put it up over here.
It was over there last year, right?
Yeah, it was over here last year. I think this year I may put it over here. And then I took some of those same cages and I just turned it upside down to hold the pumpkin, because again, I think it looks kind of cute. It elevates them off of the ground to prevent rot on the bottom, but also it's got that kind of whimsical curl to it. So let me run and I'll come right back, Stuart, and I'll show you exactly which ones I'm using. Okay, so here we go. You can get a lot of different kinds of plant stands. Why I like this one is because it's recessed. It's got kind of a saucer shape at the top. So whatever you put in there can kind of nestle in, and then it gives you space to tuck some things around in here. Like this one, I don't have anything tucked yet. I could do another tower here. Maybe I'll do this in the backyard.
Looks like boulders.
Yeah, they do look like boulders. That's kind of fun. But again, you can turn those upside down and they make a fun, whimsical kind of cage for pumpkins. Now, if you don't have any iris foliage near you, then here is another scary alternative. I just got some of this yesterday, and that's Spanish moss. So you could tuck Spanish moss in here, hanging out of it. If you wanted to use this inside, you could put some Spanish moss to make it look even spookier. I don't like to use some of that faux spider web, because one of you as a follower a number of years ago told me, especially when you use it outside, how it can trap different really good beneficials, even small animals in it. And also because I'm just not really sure how it degrades. This will degrade just fine. And so this is another alternative that you can use to kind of simulate that scary, spooky look. Let's take another break and we'll talk about a few more things. Well, increasingly, a lot of people are embracing the all white and gray look outside. In fact, I was at Brick's yesterday shopping for just a few more things, and I noticed that there was a woman there and she had nothing but white in her cart. White gourds, white pumpkins, white mums, and everything. And if that's your look, and it's a great look, if that's your look, here's a different way you could style it. So you could use these kind of gray pumpkins instead. Obviously, I've still got something here at the base to soften it, and then use white pumpkins and you get kind of or white mums, and you get more of an elegant look, especially when you put it in a really good looking basket like this. And I think it would be fun to have all sorts of different kinds of white mums, and I've got a different type right here. This is, I think probably this is more of one of those button flower mums. It's got a different mum shape than this more daisy-like bloom, but it would be fun to have another size of white mums staggered here in front, up and down your steps. And that's another thing that you could do, is just kind of get this much more romantic, delicate, in some ways maybe more modern, less traditional look by using gray pumpkins with white mums. And it's a gorgeous look. And then there are some beautiful white gooseneck gourds and things that could look cool. These are gray. I could add some more white pumpkins to the mix. In fact, I think I'll follow the butterfly.
Butterfly chasing.
Follow the butterfly. We could add a couple of white pumpkins. And this would be something really fun to do maybe on the inside of your house. And maybe I'll just do that maybe in the parlor or something. Yeah, back to the show. Quit chasing dreams and butterflies, Stuart. So this is just kind of another little montage you could put together. Now, if you wanted to inject a little bit a different vibe, then what I would do is I would switch out the white mums. I would bring in some dark purple mums, and then I just got a shipment of some Southern Living plants, and I swear you cannot have enough Obsession Nandina because the color in them is just wonderful. They do not bury, but in terms of cut flower material for filler, especially in the fall, I think they're just indispensable. And in fact, I had so many Nandinas at the fairy tale house that I really miss how many I have here, so I'm adding a few more. But if you wanted to get a completely different look, how fun would it be to just tuck in?
Good contrast.
Yeah, good contrast, especially if you had a like colored mum back here. There's so many different looks that you can get. There's no one right look. There's just different looks. It might even be fun to put a whisper of black spray paint or something on these, and you could
tiny orange pumpkin on top.
Well, you could,
cool
but
I know, it changes the whole thing.
It changes the whole dynamic. But definitely definitely you could, and you could keep going and make it more, make it more whimsical. And I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's just kind of a fun thing. And then you could inject all sorts of things around the perimeter. You could put any kind of berries around here. Oh, here's a different look. My creative juices are kind of flying. Hold on one second, Stuart, and I'll be right back. Don't trip on the little cages. If you wanted to do something a lot frillier, then you could do this. Ooh, this would be really pretty with some of the hydrangea blooms that are starting to blush pink a little bit. And you could do a whole surround of frilly dried hydrangeas.
Pretty cool.
So that's why it's fun to be outdoors when you're composing these kinds of things. As you can see, tone on tone, kind of colorful inspiration that can help you decide what kind of displays you want to create indoors and out at your own house. Well, if the outside was kind of a mess while I'm in process styling, so is the inside. But here are some things that I'm working with and some more, I guess, Walmart inspiration or skull inspiration. So my first point of reference were these resin skulls. I saw these again when I was at Walmart picking up a prescription, and they look like wicker to me.
Yeah, they do.
I think they really look like wicker to me, and I might even put a little bit of a wash of black paint on them or something, and they were like $6 or $7. Now I think they might be out of stock online. I'm still going to put the link below because you might be able to find them at your local Walmart, and also because they might come back in stock since they were so popular. But they were like, okay, that was scary. First of all, there was, I don't know what it was, somebody was closing a heavy truck door or something that it kind of startled us. And I think it also startled my flexible posable skeleton right here, which I think I got this at Target, and I'll put a link there. But he moved, and that scared me, and then it scared off one of the other things I wanted to show you, because it's all about real life here, you guys. I show you my warts and all, and it was one of these little votive cups. Okay, so I got a number of different ones of these because not so much I wanted to burn votives in them, but because I wanted to have them around the house, because this is my favorite thing to at Halloween is candy corn and roasted nuts mixed together. And in fact, I had some kiddos that came by yesterday just to visit, and I was happy that I was able to gift them with their first baby boo pumpkin of the season and also their first piece of candy corn. Just as a survey, the girl really liked the candy corn nut mix. The boy did not. So it might be a gender. It might be a gender thing. Okay, so I'm not going to move. We are going to clear. We are going to clean this up. Fortunately, the hand is holding all of the broken pieces. That's something that can be easily remedied by just putting another glass votive holder in there, something that I might find in my closet, or I might find thrifted, which is a good segue into some of the thrifted things that I pulled out of my basement that I shopped for over the years. One of them being this kind of modern candle holder. And these, I got these online, and I'll try to find the link, but I think they look kind of, I think they look kind of spooky, especially when you put orange votives in them. And this is a fun thing to put on your mantle, but it would also be fun to put in an outdoor windowsill. And these are protected, so you could actually burn real candles in here without them blowing out, I believe. The other thing, you guys, if you've been following for a long time, you might recognize it, and that is this. Oop, and there he goes again. I think there was a breeze. There is this stand. And I spray painted it black, and I have used it for different things. I like to use it on a buffet table, which, by the way, I am much more careful to secure items so they don't come flying off of the display. But I have used it to hold different bowls of different things on the buffet table, because I think when you have varying heights of things that it gives more dimension and interest. And this will be perfect to hold things like skulls, like pumpkins, you know, maybe a carved pumpkin on top. And I think that'll be really fun, especially then when I do that thing where I tuck in some Spanish moss on here. I think that could look really, really spooky. And then if it's illuminated in some kind of spooky way, that would also complete the picture. Another thing that spoke to me, I guess my theme for this Halloween is skulls, and I love this skull planter.
I didn't realize it was a whole.
Yeah, it's a planter. Now I'm thinking it would be fun to also use this as a candy holder and to put long black licorice sticks in here with some great big orange swirl suckers. I have seen those. I could also put orange and white or black and white stick candy canes in there, and I think that would be really fun. And or black jelly beans. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, but I think it could be really fun. And also you could use it as a planter. It would be kind of fun to have something that looked like hair, maybe a hairy cactus or something coming out of there. So those are just some different ideas. One last idea is I've had this pumpkin for years, and I spray painted it with a galvanized metal spray paint, and I even liked the way it began to drip a little bit, and I liked the way it started to have scuff marks on it over time. That makes it look old, and it's kind of fun when you elevate it on another thrift store find like this plant stand. I'm always looking for those. So this is just maybe just some things that I'm working with when my ensemble is complete on the inside, when all of the glass is cleaned up by my dustbuster, then I will show you those. So on behalf of the posable skeleton, we're going to wave goodbye right here, and then we're going to close with a few comments. Well, I'm trying to get back in the habit of outfit of the day, starting from top to bottom. Here is today's ensemble. My earrings, I got these at a pop-up shop in Midtown a couple of years ago. I think it was around Christmas time, and they are kind of sparkly and fun to wear around Christmas. One of the brands that I am so sold on, and I have purchased so many of their things because I love their aesthetic, and I love their vibe, and that is J. Peterman. So this vibrant blue top, I got this at J. Peterman this past summer, and I really, really love it. But I've got a number of other, I'm having trouble talking, Stuart, a number of other J. Peterman outfits that I'm going to be showing you on a coming Signature Style Saturday. My jeans are Calvin Klein, and I got these at an outlet mall many, many years ago. Now, these shoes, I am loving these shoes. I saw these on a model on Pinterest, and I just loved them. I believe they were Uggs, and I didn't want to spend that kind of money. I love the detail work that's up here around the top, the rim. I love the fact that there's a thick sole, so they give me a little bit of height, and they would make great indoor slippers, but also they're just great outdoor comfortable shoes for fall. And I will put a link to these in the description box below, and all of the Amazon links, all those links are in the description box below. Some of the other links are actually even clickable right there on your screen when you see them. So we will try to remember all of the links. Just if you don't see one, just comment below and we'll try to get it for you. So there you go. Am I forgetting anything, Stuart? Oh, I have to show my ring. That ring belonged to my second mom, and it was the birthstones of all the kids. And you can tell there were lots of kids. So there you go. There's my outfit of the day. Okay, I thought it might be helpful if I just talked to camera, talked to you, and answered some of the questions you've had, starting with, where is Leah? Well, our darling Leah, and we desperately miss her, she just had some opportunities come her way, and she just decided to grab the brass ring. So she is doing more acting, she is doing more styling, she's been working with Paycom and some other companies, and she just wanted to kind of, I think, start moving a little bit in a different direction, and I think that's great, and she's just right at the age to do those kinds of things. She also is in a pretty serious relationship with a guy that maybe that informed some of her decisions. So we are thrilled for her. She will still be in our lives, but probably not on this channel. And Stuart and I have just come to accept that. We've worked with a number of young people who help us out for a year or two, and they learn some things, and then largely because of their age, they move on to something else. And we are thrilled. We wish them well. We hope they had a good time when they were working here with our LV team. We certainly had a good time. And they still remain in our lives, but in our lives doesn't mean on camera all of the time. So that's the answer to that question. Some of you have asked a lot of questions about the second channel. Well, originally, the second channel, called Linda Votter Style and Substance, we were going to do that. I think I was going to do that kind of in combination with Leah. She wanted to play a much larger role in that, but I think because of her decision to do some different things, we are still wanting to get you that content, but we are thinking through how we do so. And we're even talking to people at YouTube about this. Do we want to start a second channel to do that? Or do we want to leave the framework of the garden life as it is right now and then just supplement it with putting this different kind of content on different days? That way, those of you who come here just for the gardening kind of thing, the Wednesdays, the Saturdays, and the Sundays, those will not change, but we might take the content that we've been generating for the second channel and put them maybe on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Really cool stuff.
Really great stuff. We have shot a lot of it. Most importantly, some in-depth interviews and conversations in kind of a podcast way I have had with different really compelling, interesting people with appealing stories that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. How people have navigated different life changes and how they have coped, how they have done it with style and grace, and we'll be sharing a lot of those with you. Maybe on something, this is, if one thing I know for sure, nothing is ever set in concrete around here. But maybe a feature we start calling Talk About It Tuesday, where we have conversations on both style and substance. And then, yes, we are going to start doing a lot more on beauty, on clothing, and that kind of thing. And where that lands, we're not 100% sure. We've already shot some of it. We just need to find a place to park it. So I'm not even going to apologize for all of that, because the one thing I know for sure at my age is the only constant is change. It's constant around here, but what does not change is my affection for all of you and my desire to share things that are of interest to all of us. That is an enduring thing. So I'm just asking you to hang in there with me as we decide how we are going to sort all of this stuff out as we navigate our own changes here. But Stuart and I hope to be consistent features in your life. If so, please remember to subscribe, to like this, to share with others, because I do think it's really fun for us all to experience an interesting garden life together.